Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today I am going to be doing a book haul for you. This is my first book haul on this channel, and within the last 1 or 2 years I haven't been buying a whole lot of books. I've been really good about that because I've been using my library a lot. But since I've been back on BookTube, I have accumulated 27 books for you, but I have read half of these, so it's not that bad. Some of the ones that I bought were because I love them so much that I wanted them for my collection. But yes, 27 books, so let's go ahead and get started. The first book I have to show you is actually on my August TBR, and that is The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna. This is the sequel to The Gilded Ones, which I really loved. It was one of my favorite books of the year when I read it. So I can't tell you what this one's about because it is the sequel, but the first one follows a girl named Decca, and in this world when you turn 16 you have a blood ceremony to see if your blood runs red or if it runs gold. If it runs red, you're good, you can join the community, but if it runs gold, you are known to be evil. And so of course Decca's blood runs gold, and so she gets imprisoned, and while she is in prison, a woman comes and visits her in the middle of the night and says, you can stay here and die, or you can come with me and become a female warrior. It is really good. I loved the writing. I loved the world. I thought it was very unique, and the covers are beautiful. So of course, as soon as the second one came out, I had to get it. Still haven't read it, but hopefully this month I'll get to it. So the next 7 books are all from the same author, and that is because I did a reading vlog all about this author, and that is Colleen Hoover. So if you haven't watched my reading vlog, reading Colleen Hoover books in 24 hours, then definitely go watch that. I will leave it linked down below. It's one of my favorite videos. So one of the ones I didn't get to for that video is All Your Perfects. I don't know what this is about, but I know it's connected to the Hopeless series, and so I'm waiting to read this one so I can read the Hopeless series first. It's not a direct sequel, but I know that there is a connection. The next one I have is Confess. Now this one follows a girl named Auburn, and she just recently moved to Texas, and she really needs to find another job, and she stumbles upon this art studio that is in desperate need of help. The artist at this art studio is named Owen, and Owen's art is based on confessions. So people will leave anonymous confessions and he will create an art piece based on that confession. I really enjoyed this one. It is not my favorite, but it is not my least favorite. I loved Auburn and I loved Owen a lot, and I thought that the art based around confessions is really cool, and some of the art is actually in this book, which just added so much to it. Next I have November 9, which is one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books. We follow Fallon and Ben, and they met one year when they were 18 on November 9th, and they decide for the next 5 years to meet every year on November 9th, and Ben will write a story about their love story. I really enjoyed this one. It was very fast paced, and I cried, I was happy, I was scared. All of the emotions were in this book. The next Colleen Hoover book I have is Hopeless, and this is one of the ones I haven't read yet, so I can't tell you what it's about because I generally don't read what her books are about before I read them. I just kind of start reading them. So because I haven't read this one, don't know what it's about, but I have it. The next one I have is Without Merit, and this is the weirdest Colleen Hoover book I have read so far. I really did not enjoy my time reading it. We follow a girl named Merritt, and Merritt lives in an old church, and she has several siblings. They all have very unusual names, and I honestly don't know where the plot is in this book. It got very lost, but she just has a very strange family. She is not well, and that's Without Merit. The next ones I'm going to do together so I can go ahead and get them out of the way, and that is Maybe Someday and the novella Maybe Not. So in this book we follow a girl named, I don't even know her name, Sydney. Sydney has just been cheated on by her boyfriend, and so now she has nowhere to live, nowhere to stay. So she goes and stays at her friend's house that is across the way from her apartment, and he is a musician, and he is also in a relationship of 5 years. So her living in his apartment, you can kind of guess where things are going. I hated this book desperately. I hated the novella desperately. I hated all the characters. I hated the relationship, but I own them, so there's that. The next book is actually a nonfiction book, and that is The Apache Wars by Paul Andrew Hutton. So all you need to know about this one is that it is the hunt for Geronimo, the Apache kid, and the captive boy who started the longest war in American history. So I recently visited New Mexico this summer, and I am very interested in Native American history because we are not taught a lot about it. So anytime I can pick up a book where I can learn more about this history of America, I definitely want to, and so this one I thought was interesting. I also really like the cover, but I am definitely excited to pick this one up and just learn more about the history of the place that I live. The next one is another nonfiction book, and it is a book that I have read, and that is My Penguin Year by Lindsay McRae. Now, this is a memoir all about Lindsay McRae, and he is a wildlife videographer, and he gets the opportunity to go and spend 11 months with the emperor penguins. I love penguins. They are my favorite animal, and so I wanted to read anything I could about them, especially the emperors, because people don't usually get to see them because they live in Antarctica. This was really interesting. There's also pictures included, and I had a great time with my penguins. I also forgot to mention the next 8 books are books that I got in South Africa while I was there, and My Penguin Year was the first book that I picked up while I was there. So the next books are all from South Africa as well. The next book I picked up is my souvenir that I pick up in every country I go to. Normally I pick it up in that language of the country, but I couldn't find it in Afrikaans or Xhosa or any of the other languages, so I had to get it in English, but that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. But this is actually the 25th anniversary edition, and I was able to get it on the 25th anniversary, so this is the souvenir that I always get everywhere I travel. The next couple of books I have are Stephen King books, and they are in the new Hodder and Stoughton editions, which is the Ultimate Storyteller editions where they line up and make a rainbow. I had ordered these ones a few months ago, but these two came in the incorrect editions, but because in South Africa they have the UK editions, I was able to pick up these two in the correct ones. And so the first one I have is Gerald's Game. I think this one is also a movie, but I haven't seen the movie. I just know that this couple goes to a cabin and they start a sex game, but the man dies on top of the woman while she is handcuffed to the bed. So that sounds interesting. I love Stephen King, so I am excited to get to this one. And the next Stephen King book I have in the correct edition I wanted is Dolores Claiborne. I don't know a lot about this one, but I know that a lot of people love this one, and it is one of their favorite Stephen Kings, and that they just love Dolores Claiborne as a character, so I am very much looking forward to this one. Next is another book that I read, and that is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I really enjoyed this one. We follow socialite Noemi, who gets a letter from her cousin asking for help, saying that the place that she lives at with her husband, there is something wrong and she is not well. So Noemi goes to this mysterious manor to save her cousin, and while she is there, she realizes that this place is not safe. I really loved the writing and the atmosphere of this one, and I cannot wait to read more from this author. The next book I got was The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. I believe this is the first book in the Detective Poirot series. I have read one Agatha Christie before and I did not like it, but my mom loves her, so I will continue trying her books, and I decided to look up a order to read them in, and this was recommended as one of the first ones to read, so I picked it up. I also really love these UK editions, so as I pick them up I will probably order from Waterstones or Book Depository because I love these editions and I love how they all look together. The next book I picked up is a middle grade, and that is Julia and the Shark by Kieran Millwood Hargrove, and I love this one. It is one of my favorite books of all time. So we follow a little girl named Julia, and her father is an electrician and her mother is a marine biologist, and her mother dreams of finding the Greenland shark so she can figure out how the Greenland sharks live forever and hopefully give that to humans so that they can also live for a long time as well. So they travel and go to stay in a lighthouse so her father can fix it up. And essentially the story is about grief and loving your loved ones who are going through a hard time. It is about heartache. It is so incredibly heartbreaking. It is sad, beautiful, tragic, and I just really, really loved it, and it meant a lot to me, and I can't imagine what this would be like reading as a middle grade reader. I just feel like this is so important. The last book that I got from South Africa was Revival by Stephen King. I saw this edition and I just really, really loved it and had to have it. I love the foiling on the lightning strike. I don't really know what this one's about. I just kind of pick up Stephen King because I'm reading all of his books anyway, but there is a circus tent on here, so maybe there's a deadly circus involved. Who knows? The next two books are books in the same series, so I will talk about them at the same time, and that is Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is books, I think, 6 and 7 in this series. Kingdom of Ash is the last book, and I only have these two books to read before I am finally finished with the series. I am so desperate to be done with the series. I cannot wait. The first book, if you haven't heard, is Throne of Glass. I'm sure you know what it is by now. It follows an assassin named Selena Sardathian, but the rest of the series kind of goes off the rails, and it is nothing about Selena the assassin, which I wish it was, because the first book is actually my favorite, and for me the rest of the series goes downhill very quickly. But yes, I am so excited to be done with this series, hopefully soon. The next book I have is Together Apart, and this is actually an anthology, and I'm pretty sure it is an anthology about love stories set during COVID lockdown. The reason why I got this is because Aaron A. Craig has a story in this, and I really love Aaron A. Craig, and so I wanted to get it. It is very short, and so it was like $6, so I went ahead and picked it up so I can finally read it, because it was on my most anticipated of, like, I think 2020 is when it came out, so it's been a while. Next, I have a very popular book that I have yet to read, and that is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have not read a single Emily Henry book, but I am slowly collecting them so that I can do a reading vlog reading Emily Henry books. I know that her next book comes out in April, and so I'm hoping the video I have planned will come out in April or May, and then I will finally get to read her books. I know I'm gonna love them, but I just haven't got to them yet. The next one is kind of a random book that I actually have never heard anyone talk about, but I had an Amazon gift card, so I picked the cheapest book on my Amazon wish list, and that was Blood Countess by Lana Popovich. Now, all I know about this is that it is a vampire book, and according to my channel name, that's my brand, and it very much is. I love vampires. I will never get tired of them. I've been reading about them since I was in 8th grade, and I just love them, and I want to get all the vampires I can get. This is book 1 in this series. The series title is Lady Slayers, so I am very interested. But yeah, this one was also like $6, and so went ahead and picked it up. And the last 4 books I have here are all books that I have read before, but I wanted to add them to my collection because I love them so much. I'm not going to talk about what they are because you have probably heard them so much already, and I do have a video coming out later this week all about this author's books, and that author that I am talking about is Riley Sager. So here are the 4 books I have, and I will show you one at a time what they are, but I don't think I need to go into detail about what they're about. So first I have Survive the Night, then I have Home Before Dark, next I have Lock Every Door, and lastly I have The House Across the Lake. So that is it for this book haul. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. Go ahead and leave the ice cream emoji if you have made it this far in the video. Thank you for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!